cheating. That was cheating. You can't. That was full cheating.
There's no rules to how we get on the couch. You just gotta run.
You can't just do that.
Run fast like the wind. I'm sorry, do you want to go again?
No, it's fine.
You sure?
It's okay. I'll win next time.
You said that last time. And here you are, 2 losses.
And I'll say it again.
2 losses in a row. That's 1, 2.
Well, make a comeback real quick.
Yeah. Consolation prize. You can have a tea with your podcast today.
Can't say that.
Because Ramadan is over.
It's finished.
Obviously, I'm going to have one too.
Sharafe.
Sharafe. That's Turkish for cheese. Cheese.
Cheese. Cheese.
Yep.
I meant to say cheers, but you said cheese and it just came out of my mouth too.
Yes. This is a strong green tea.
Yeah, you like strong green tea.
Lovely. It's actually green.
Well, at least you know all the stuff's in it to give you the benefits.
Yeah. Might give you a stomachache too, but if you start getting a stomachache, at least you know it's the tea.
I mean, hopefully that won't happen.
Fingers crossed, but my stomach's kind of going a bit funny already.
Oh, don't say that.
It's okay. We'll just do the podcast.
I mean, I do like
I'm looking forward to a tea this whole time, and here we are.
I think it's a vibe. I'll make you a nice chai warmer tomorrow.
I'll never try one now.
Sorry.
It's okay. You don't have
Health is wealth, you know.
It really is.
Health is wealth.
What's the crack today?
Oh, so many cracks. So many
So much crack.
So many cracks. So many cracks. So much crack. So many cracks. I had an interesting dilemma this week.
Yes.
So a woman basically found out that her husband of 5 years, who she's married to and has a child with and a home with.
I thought you'd hope they had a home with if they had children they were married. I'm married and have kids with this person. Oh,
but we just live on the street.
No, he lives in his car. I live in a tree. The kid, I don't know where the kid is.
Kid's just chilling somewhere.
Somewhere.
So yeah, this woman who is married, has a child, shares a home with this man, and she's recently found out that her husband cheated on her in the first year of their relationship with someone that he worked with.
Before they were married.
This is before they were married. So this is like, yeah. And on the back of that bit, not on the back of that, but basically the person that he cheated on her with left work. And now the reason that I think he's bringing it up is because she's come back to work there.
Right.
So, little dilemma, what does the lady do?
How did she find out?
I think she saw some messages on his phone and was like, who's this? Noticed that they were a bit flirty.
Did some digging.
Did a little digging and, you know, kind of was like, what is this happening over here? And then basically it all came out after the interrogation she gave him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least he was finally honest when he got questioned about it and told her.
Only 4 years late.
Probably longer, to be fair. They're married for 5. That happened in the first year of their relationship. It's probably longer.
Oh, no, they've been together 5 years, my bad.
Ah,
they've been together 5 years.
All right, and this happened in year 1.
This is the first year of them being together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now this chick's gone back to the place of work where they originally had
and she was messaging him because she thought, let me just pick up where I left off from. But, you know, it's been 5 years, 4 years even, and he's got a whole wife and kid now.
She's got to leave him, really, I guess.
Yeah.
It's point blank, black and white, straight to the point. I'm not going to beat around the bush. You've got to leave him. Because even if you're, let's say that they're just colleagues now and there's, you know, the husband's in love with her, she is not going to be comfortable with this Donnie going to work every day knowing that she's there and what they did. Can you imagine that? Oh, have a good day at work, hon. Don't shag that chick again.
Every time there's like a work do, she's.
Can you imagine Christmas party? She's gonna be like, "Is there a +1? Yeah, +1. I'm coming, aren't I? There's what? No +1s. You're not going either. Then, isn't it though?
Yeah, super peak, because a child is like 1 year old. What does she do?
Get rid of the child too.
She doesn't even work.
No, I'm joking.
Can't get rid of the child.
Just get rid of it all. Control, Alt, Delete.
Cancelled.
Bring up the girls straight down to spoons. Wait for the whole thing to blow over.
Nice, it's like letters.
Oh, she's classy.
She's classy. Classy.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
Yeah, it's a peak situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
so
you know,
peak, bro.
And also, I guess the question is, like, would he have been honest with you about it had you not found out, if you had not seen those messages?
No.
And also, did this only happen once in the time that you've been together, or has it happened many times? Because normally, if you do it once, there's a pattern, you know. Especially if it's that early in the relationship, and not that early. If it's at the beginning of the relationship, there's been 4 other years.
Yeah.
So
I think it's one of them ones. I think if your partner's cheated on you and you found it out, then that's completely different to them telling you. It doesn't make it right. It's still the same situation, but at least with them telling you, it's like, cool, they understand they've done something wrong, and you know they've had the respect to tell you and own up to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the other way is you've literally found this information
and you've had to drag it out of them,
and then they've gone and told you once the jig is up. So this whole time they've lied to you. Why? They've withheld their information, probably on the pretense that they know that if they tell you, you'll break up with them.
Yeah.
So
it's manipulation.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's like the deepest form of manipulation there is, because you know that this person will break up with you based on this information that you're withholding. So the whole relationship's a fucking lie, then, is it not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, you can argue, oh no, like I'm scared, and it doesn't matter. Like if you do something wrong, whether it's cheating or something else in your relationship or outside of it, always own up to the person and tell them like, yo, I fucked up here.
This is what.
Do you know what I mean? Rather than running the risk of them finding out on their own, which is 100 times worse, and them having to be like, hey, I heard this thing about you. Is this true? And then you going, oh yeah, it is, but I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, this is when we've got a kid, we're married, you didn't want to tell me this before we did those things? Why?
Yeah.
Oh, because you thought I'd break up with you. Well, aren't I the fool then?
That's just so awful. That's so awful. I feel like when it gets to that level, there has to be some sort of like consequence. Like you can't just get away with just telling me and then that's it. Like they break up. What, like, because you know that woman's life has changed forever now. If she breaks up with him, she's not working. She's got a child very young that needs full-time attention. And kind of like what I was saying the other week is that I feel like when women end a marriage, especially if there's children involved, it's actually a lot harder for women to date and remarry because they've got all this extra stuff to deal with.
But what would the consequence be?
What would well, that's the thing, I don't know. Because
child support.
But that's lame. I mean, it's important, don't get me wrong, but I feel like, you know, he's done there should be something else. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there should be an extra consequence for what he's done because he's manipulated. You know, think of it this way. There was a story of a man who knew he had like AIDS, I think it was, and he slept with so many women.
Oh yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, I heard that story.
And he got punished by law because he purposefully did something manipulative.
But what did he get done for? It wasn't manslaughter, was it? But it was something.
No,
it was something on the lines of like.
Was it grievous bodily harm?
Grievous bodily harm or something.
I think that was it, because he's basically now, you know, exposed them to this illness knowingly and so intentionally. Bad. Like he slept with, I want to say he slept with hundreds of women. I think in. And
wasn't it vindictive as well? It was like he wanted to get back at people or something because he was.
Which is
sick.
Just you know, I'm sick, sense. So everyone else should be sick. That's just silly. Yeah. So you know, if there was something for him in that scenario that was punishable by law, I'm not saying he should be punished by law, but I feel like there should be something for it. Because essentially what he's done is he's manipulated, and you know, there's probably way more severe cases than this case we're talking about. But essentially, if you've manipulated someone and they've made decisions based on that manipulation, which affects their life, then that's messed up. Because also as well, if you, for example, if I used to work with someone who basically had an implant.
Right.
Which is like contraceptive thing in their arm.
I had to think about that. I was like, do you mean like digital ID implant or like brain implant? I was
that's a few years in the future.
I was like, oh, you mean the contraception. Right.
So she
2023, not 25.
Yeah, it's coming. So she basically had an implant in her arm, and she was going through a phase in her life where she was sleeping around a lot.
Yes.
And she was also had like an eating disorder, was also doing a lot of drugs. And she went to the doctors to get her implant changed. And she's basically, when she was telling me this story, she was essentially suing her doctors because she went to the doctors and to get the implant changed.
Yeah.
To get the implant changed, but the nurse or the doctor didn't do a pregnancy test. And apparently, when you're switching your implant over, because there's no exact date when it finishes.
Right.
So you roughly take it.
Yeah.
It's very rough.
It's like a guesstimate.
Yeah. So it could stop working, and you could still thinking it's working when it's not. So what they're supposed to do is take a pregnancy test in between.
Right.
But they didn't do that. They popped another one in her arm. She carried on. Fast forward a bit. I think she was pregnant, but she didn't know this until like 6-7 months into her pregnancy. No. So she's telling me the story, and she was saying that what she was doing is obviously she was doing loads of drugs, she was drinking loads, she had an eating disorder, she was going to the gym a lot, and she goes, I thought I was getting fat. And she's like, I couldn't understand why, because obviously I wasn't eating food. I was doing loads of drugs, and I was going to the gym all the time. And she goes, sometimes I would punch my belly. I would punch my belly thinking, why are you so fat? Like, why aren't you going down? She goes, and it was so hard, and I didn't understand why. And then eventually I realized, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. Or like she did a pregnancy test, or someone said something to her, which made her think, oh my gosh, I could be pregnant. Turns out she was pregnant. Luckily, the baby came out perfectly fine and healthy. So she's very lucky.
When you add the lines, I was taking a lot of drugs with I'm pregnant, your mind goes places, you think the worst for the kid. So that's good news.
But she came out really healthy, really lovely. And at the time that she was suing the doctors, I think her daughter was like 2. But essentially what she was suing them for was because you didn't do a pregnancy test. Yeah, and essentially now she's ended up with a child that she didn't actually want, and she wasn't even capable of having, because obviously she had to get sober. She had to sort of drug habit out, her eating disorder out, and all the rest of it. And
God works in mysterious ways. Do you know what I mean? Probably, that all happened for a reason to help her sort her shit out.
Yeah, for sure. Probably. I mean, she sorted most of it out. I think she still had like a bit of an eating disorder, which was one of the things she was managing when I worked with her.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, the way that she was managing it, she was constantly eating, but like eating small amounts.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you wouldn't see her eat large meals. She'd just be grazing all day. So yeah, but but in that scenario, the reason that she was able to sue them was because I've ended up with a child that I didn't want, and you should have to pay for that child because I'm not equipped to pay for this child. I didn't plan this child. And you gave me a service, etc., etc. So, I think potentially if she wins that case, if she has won that case, because this was quite a few years ago,
they'll have to pay child support.
I imagine they'd have to pay for her child for like 18 years.
Really?
I can't see why not.
I guess because that's what they're going for.
Because they should have done a pregnancy test, and if she had found out at the beginning of the pregnancy,
she would have aborted it.
Probably and luckily her family are really wealthy, and her parents helped her out, and they looked after her, etc. But the reality was she was like, I was not in a position to have a child, mentally, physically, emotionally.
And hence why I had the
implant
because I didn't want kids.
Yeah, exactly. So the mistake is on the doctor's part, and I know this is like a very extreme scenario to like the dilemma that I was talking about, but essentially, it's the responsibility of the man to have told her that information before she got married. Okay, fair enough, marriage, like if she didn't have a child and you were just married, she could divorce you and she'd carry on with her life as normal. She probably would still have a job and a career, etc. But this woman's left her job. She's left her career.
Whole life changed. Yeah, based exactly. On the relationship she's having with this man.
Yeah, and he's been able to influence that, and he's helped her make decisions based on the current information that she has.
Yeah.
So should he not have to? Is there not some sort of like repercussions far greater than I'm sorry and just a divorce and giving you child support, because you've affected her life for forever now, or at least for the next 18 years, 16 years even, until her child is old enough to look after themselves.
This is so I asked you, all right, cool, but what would the repercussions be? Because it's very hard. Like, how do you quantize what the punishment should be, or what the penalty is for lying in such a way?
I don't know, but like Mariah Carey got an inconvenience fee. inconvenience fee.
Yeah, she's got a lot of money to pay someone to be able to sue someone, to do things like that. Like, if I had the lawyers and the money she had, there'd be a lot of people getting sued for inconvenience. Trust me. Can you imagine taking someone to court? You've inconvenienced me, now pay me. every time someone bells you, like, who's this? Oh, it's such and such calling from. Sir, you've fucked with the wrong one today. What is your name and number? I'm gonna sue you for inconvenience.
What's your staff number? What's your staff ID?
Google me and see how many cases I've won. I'm coming for you. Did you hear the phone go? But yeah, so it's difficult to even try and imagine. Okay, cool. Because I agree with you that every action has a reaction, and there's certain things, if it's done with an intent, there should be some sort of repercussions for the person. Yes. But it seems in this case, this man kind of, all right, yeah, the divorce, he may have to give up half depending on how this wedding and the marriage is set up, and of course he has to pay some sort of child support, but it's not that much, really. So what the punishment or penalty should be is something that would prevent or deter people from doing things like that. Hard.
And what I think potentially should be is that the person who's done the wrong should essentially have to financially, emotionally, whatever the thing is, maybe financially, put the person back in the position that they would be had they not made the decisions based on the information they had. Yeah, potentially, although that would be very difficult to do. I'm not sure how that would even come about. And obviously, like, this is all hypothetical. I'm not saying this should 100% be the thing, but like, it's an interesting thing to think about. Like, that the law doesn't
offer you that type of protection on your life.
It doesn't, yeah, and it doesn't because there's people out there doing malicious shit all the time, and what is there? Not just women, but also men on the other way. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what is there in place to prevent people from doing stuff like this? And I guess the other question is should the law even be involved in a matter like this, or should it just be left between the people?
Again, it's hard to say, isn't it?
It's a difficult one.
Yeah, it's very difficult. This is the thing, marriage is the biggest decision. Who you marry is the biggest decision you'll make in your life, because that person will either make your life or they'll break it.
They'll ruin it.
And in this instance, although she probably loves a kid and I'm sure she's doing just fine. I'm not saying because she's not with this man now her life's ruined, but she's in a different place to probably what she planned her life to be looking like because of what this guy did at the start of the relationship, what she's found out. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Not what he's told her. So I guess in the sense, if you could prove, for example, right, all right, we're married now, we're divorced, but the reason we're divorced is for something that you did before we were married, but we were together, that if I had known, I wouldn't have married you and we wouldn't have been together, then I think that's something you could go on. If you could prove that, that would have been the case, which you only would need, I guess, dates for. This happened here, and this is when we got married, and no, I would not have been with that person because essentially it's it's adultery. Okay, they're not married, but you're cheating on your partner. So if you look at it, okay, we were married when you did it, then it would be the same thing. Yeah. So it's just a fuckery.
Interesting little thing to think about.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll go find a judge and see what their opinion is on the matter. Honestly, let me play you something. This is a song. It's in a different language, but I want to see if you can recognize the artist. Yeah? Ready?
It's straight.
Final answer.
Yeah, is he not singing in Korean?
Not Korean. If you guess the language, are you locking in Drake?
Yeah, let me listen.
It's playing again. I wouldn't guess this language, to be fair. It's not easy.
Is it Taiwanese? Cantonese.
You're in like the right
area.
Yeah.
Vietnamese.
No.
Oh, is it Thai?
No.
Mandarin.
Bit further north of Thailand. Northwestish.
Don't actually know what's north of Thailand, I'll be honest.
It's okay.
Philippines.
No.
They're not there?
That's like southeast.
I don't know.
Literally the opposite direction. It's Nepalese.
Nepalese. Oh, yes. I would not have guessed that.
Yes. But that obviously was an AI rendering of Drake's voice.
No way.
In Nepalese. So this guy's taken Drake's voice, put it into the program, and it simulated this song.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I did see some posts about this. That like they'd done it to a few artists, like Nicki Minaj, I think Jay-Z, and a few other ones where someone had done it on the internet. And now that the record companies are basically they're basically going to the courts to try and stop people from being able to do this.
Yeah. Because if they can simulate your voice with AI now and make whole songs out of it,
well, what do we need anyone else
for? What you don't need the artist for?
You really don't. You actually don't.
And also, how can you tell if it's the authentic real person singing, talking, saying whatever on whatever it is you're hearing, or if it's a computer program?
But do you know something else as well? I don't even think this technology is new, because remember a while back, I think it was like last year, there was like a video going around of like a song by Jay-Z,
Nicki Minaj. If you rewind it, it's Jay-Z's voice.
If you slow it down or something, you do something to it.
If you rewind it and slow it down, it's Jay-Z's voice.
And there was another artist that they did it to as well. So it's all like, how is that the case? How has that happened? Are they the same person? Are they the same person, or is it that they actually are not? They are actually not doing any of the artistic rapping, and it's just it's automatically done for them.
Yeah,
they just got to learn to perform it at shows. They're not actually in the studio doing it.
To be fair, most of the time they're not even performing it at the shows.
Nice lip syncing. Let's be honest.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I just thought it was very interesting because it says it's a scary direction that these AI programs are taking, because it's leading down the path of
deepfake all day, every day.
Deepfakes for everything.
Yeah.
Because I saw something else, and it was actually mad. It was an advert for a product on Amazon, right? But the video for the advert was Joe Rogan on his podcast, right? Speaking to some other dude. I forgot who the other dude was. But basically, they were talking about this product that increases your testosterone by however percent, and they were having like an in-depth conversation, like, oh yeah, hello, it's proven this, and it does this, and these are the effects of it, and people going mad for it, and the thing looks legit. When I was listening to it, because the video was started with that, I thought it was an advert, and I was like, yo, like, what's this about then? So it's played that video, and then the guy was like, that advert you just listened to wasn't Joe Rogan.
No.
I was like, I was about to buy that. And there was something else as well that I watched, and basically what scammers are doing now is that if ever you've put a video out online or anything with your voice in, they can do exactly what they did with that track. Yeah. So they can clone your voice. And what they've been doing is they've listened to this. It's so fucked up, yeah. They have been ringing up people's, say, parents with your voice, saying like, "Hey, mum, I'm in danger. I'm really scared. The guy's got me, and he says he needs all the money right now. Everything that you've got in your bank account, £10,000. Meet him here. Send it to this account." And the mum's on the phone crying, the kid's crying, like, "Please, they've hurt me. I really need you to save me." It turns out that it's a deepfake voice.
Oh my gosh.
Like one of them, the video that I watched, the mum's on the phone to the daughter, ringing the police or the other phone. She walks into the living room, and the daughter's in the living room going, "What's wrong, mum?" And she's like, "Oh my fucking God." She thought like she'd gone out or something. The daughter was at home, walked into the room while she's on the phone to the AI, who thinking it's her daughter in trouble. The daughter's in the living room.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is what they're saying to do now, and this is one for you listeners and watchers out there too, is that have safe words with your family. So if ever you get a call or any kind of those situations pop up, you have like sweet corn, so they know it's you. Do you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm in danger. All right, what's the safe word? Sweet corn. Because, you know what I mean? The AI is not going to know that.
Yeah.
That's how you get out of it. And I was like, yo, that's actually a valid thing to do, because that's going to only be on the rise.
Yeah.
But, you know, like you're saying, it opens up the door for extreme deepfake. So you've got these adverts, you've got faked artists, you've got fake you and me's that they can do now. They can do celebrities, they can do politicians. Imagine they did a video of, I don't know, say the president of the United States saying that they're about to nuke Russia.
Yeah.
And that went viral.
World War III, like on your doorstep.
Do you know what I mean?
Before you even know
the amount of people that would believe it before they found out that it was fake.
Yeah.
What would the repercussions be? What actions would they take before getting that information? I can't remember the exact percentage, but apparently fake news or fake information is so detrimental that, you know, it doesn't matter obviously if it's real or not, but once people hear it, they believe it.
Yeah.
So it's already taken effect, and even if they find out the truth afterwards,
it doesn't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference. The damage is already done. So that's how detrimental these things can be. But then it begs the question, well, how do you control it then? How do you stop this from getting out of hand?
Yeah.
You know what the answer is?
What? Cancel AI.
If you have an internet connection, right, and you're interacting with a website, with social media, with anything that's online, even if it's, say, a phone call from an operator from the bank, right? Mm-hmm. How do you know that the person on the phone's a person and not a robot? So you need to be able to verify that it's a human. Mm-hmm. So everyone that uses something online, or even telephones, everything that has any form of communication on it, or anything that can be, you know, altered digitally, there's going to have to be a level of verification. I don't know how they're going to do that, but to confirm, you know, you'll be able to ring up, say, the bank and be like, am I speaking to a human or a robot? And they'll have to tell you. So there's going to be a standard for, right, this is an automated system, this is a human. But there will also there will need to be a standard of how do you prove it's a human, or how do you even prove it's a robot, so you know exactly who or what you're talking to.
Yeah.
So what system are they going to bring in to be able to safeguard all that? And is it just going to be another level of control?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So, you know, all this AI that they've let out at the minute, right? Like you just said,
order out of chaos.
Order out of chaos. What you just said about the music industry, right? This technology that we've got where they're cloning voices, they've had this for decades. I watched a documentary when I was young about how this is before I even understood anything about computers, and they were talking about algorithms and how they have like these special algorithms that basically make hit songs. Because they analyze all the tracks, all the number ones, you know, what makes a melody catchy.
Yeah.
And they literally, you know, the computer just makes tracks for them.
No way.
And then the artists sing or rap over the top of it, and that's how they've been producing beats for God knows how long.
What?
But this was I'm talking like literally this was when I was a young buck, so I can't even remember, like maybe 13, 14.
That's
wild. Do you know what I mean? So where's that technology now? they made a whole performance with Tupac and a hologram. That was in 2000.
Oh my gosh, yes.
2008, 2009.
I feel like it's 2012.
Was it 2012?
I want to say 2012. It was a long time ago.
Wow. A whole thing. How is he still releasing music? But
that's a whole different kettle of fish. Is he even dead? Is he even dead? I went down this rabbit hole. I didn't really care about Tupac that much, I'll be honest. But I was intrigued by the rabbit hole because one of my cousins was like, no, but he got shot this many times on this day, and this happened, and that happened, and it's all too coincidental. I don't think he's dead. Da, 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 da. So I went down this rabbit hole once and like read bare stuff about it.
Yeah.
Totally off topic, I know. And apparently, in the state of Nevada, I think it's the state of Nevada, which is where he was murdered. That because it was that they have a law where if an attempt has been made on your life already, you're allowed to fake your death. You're allowed to fake your death. So faking your death is not a crime if an attempt on your life has already been made.
Right.
So that's one thing, because an attempt on his life had already been made prior. And then I also saw like a video where this guy on YouTube had been like collecting signs and any evidence that Tupac might be alive.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a guy in someone's music video, some like low-level artist, where he's just like in the room, in like a dimly lit room, and he's just like chilling in the background. Looked like a lot like him. And then also saw another thing where he was apparently at a protest. He was apparently at a protest.
I've seen that.
Have you seen that? And he's just dancing around. He puts his hood up or something.
And it's like, yo, this is Tupac.
And it looks exactly like him.
Either it's his twin or that's him.
So, you know, interesting, because, you know, the reality is he was probably quite wealthy at that point. And I guess the question is, do you want to keep playing the game or do you want to get out? And you might be young and you might not have like reached your peak.
Yeah.
But, you know, do you want to keep going and potentially die, or do you want to go live a nice life somewhere? You know, he could have just been like a couple, how many albums did he release? Like 1, 2?
Yeah.
2-hit wonder.
2 banging albums.
Tupac, the 2-hit wonder.
Something like that. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what else actually? With the whole AI thing, I had HSBC steal my voice. And so I feel like there's a whole GDPR issue as well there with the whole, when you call up banks and they ask you to voice verify, because I didn't agree to that. I don't remember ever doing it. It's not something I would ever agree to because I think it's weird. But they somehow took my voice and decided it was, when I ring them up now, it's voice verification. So obviously I kicked off about it. And they just kept, you know, saying, yeah, we'll raise a complaint for you. I never heard anything back. Called them back again. Yeah, we'll raise a complaint for you, blah, blah, blah. I never heard anything back. And then randomly they were like, oh yeah, we've sent you 50 quid as to say sorry. But no explanation as to why they've done that or who's decided it.
If you bothered, you could have.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back because I think that's absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
And the reality is that you've stolen my data without my permission, without me even knowing, or without even letting me know.
They've replicated your data.
Yeah. And then they've used it.
Yeah.
So that's out of order. And, you know, the question is, how many other people has that happened to that haven't realized? Because the thing is, I know that I would never agree to something like that. I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like the whole finger thing where they're scanning your fingerprints. I don't like any of that stuff. I like it old school.
Yeah, literally.
So I know for a fact I didn't agree to it. But that tells me, because I didn't go through the process of setting it up, that they've just taken my voice on a call and used it. I mean, like, oh, cool, we can verify this now.
All calls are recorded for sure.
Yeah, but it's not for training and quality purposes.
Literally, it's to clone you. And this is the thing, isn't it? But we've just proven how redundant that is, because if I wanted to now, obviously it's not attached to your account anymore, but let's say it was hypothetically, I could clone your voice. All I have to do is find a video of you speaking, aka this podcast, ring up your bank and do that, and I'll get in.
Yeah.
Because it's voice verified.
Because I recognize your voice.
Yeah. But the voice isn't me. The voice isn't you, it's me.
Which is just so ridiculous.
Literally.
So how are the banks dealing with that?
Well, this is the thing. This is the point I was getting to with the AI. You know, the music industry, they've had this technology for God knows how long, right? And if the music industry's got that, you know, they say every year that goes past, the military advances 10 years in their technology.
Yeah, that doesn't
What
shock
AI
me.
technology do they have, right? so Chat GPT-4, you know, Mid-Journey.
It's like Chat GPT 100 at this point.
All these other programs that are out there that we think are groundbreaking AI programs. You know that thing come out the other day where they're like, oh, we're you know, Elon put out the call to ban research and development in AI for 6 months because it might get out of hand.
Yeah.
They're way past that point.
Yeah, 100%.
They're like pretending like this is the can of worms opening and they're trying to control it all.
But it's already ruined. They've done it.
They've given us the first ever Windows. They're on bloody Windows 10,000.
Yeah.
Their technology is so far gone from what we can even control, but fathom and understand, that even if they were to try and explain how it works to us, none of us would. We barely can scratch the surface over what we understand with AI and how it works. So why have they given us this basic tech to use in the playground of the internet and what is our life?
1, to collect data, 2, to get you used to it so that when they bring it out, you know, it's not so foreign to you, and 3, for control.
And this is why I'm with her. She's beautiful, smart, and so sexy. Yes. And what did you say earlier? It's order out of chaos, right? So they want to completely destroy trust on the internet.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't know if I'm interacting with another human being or not, and there's no way for me to verify that, so that they can use it as an excuse, you know, because they know that humans are going to misuse this stuff. They know that we're going to abuse it. people misuse Instagram, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? How many scam accounts got cloned of mine? Do you know what I mean? There's all this bollocks going on.
Oh my god,
online.
I totally forgot about that.
Do you remember that? How funny was that? Story for another time. So they know that humans will naturally abuse these things.
Yeah.
So why have they given it to us? Because they want us to run away with it. They want us to start cloning people. They want us to start making deep fakes of celebrities and presidents, create chaos on the internet to the point where we literally tear down what the internet actually is and how it functions.
Yeah.
So they can usher in, the new age of policing the internet, which is going to be far from censorship.
Yeah.
It's going to be verification, because they know people aren't going to accept censorship. But through the verification will come censorship. Why? Because you cannot hide behind the internet anymore. You cannot be anonymous on the internet.
Yeah.
Everything that you say and do will be tracked, monitored, and traced back to you as a person, where you live and where you're from. Your name, your age, who you slept with last year, what you had for dinner last night. Get
out of my head.
Everything. All these apps. HSBC have collected your voice and used that for their AI recognition technology. Well, what other data do they have on you? All the other phone calls you have, all the other information that you've inputted onto the account. Every time you've gone on Facebook, what data are they collecting? What data are Instagram collecting? What data are WhatsApp collecting? All three of them are owned by the same company, Meta.
Yeah.
They're not just collecting data for the sake of collecting it. Data is the most valuable asset on this planet,
for sure.
Followed by attention. So why are they collecting this data, and what are they going to use it for? Like you said, they're using it to program the AI, but also to make artificial profiles of us, or digital profiles of us. So, we're all worried about digital IDs becoming a thing, digital passports. They already exist. These companies already have digital IDs of us.
Yeah.
What do you think a fucking Facebook profile is?
Yeah.
What do you think your Instagram is? If you use your Instagram for personal uses, then every picture and video that you post is just more insight for their AI algorithm to collect data on you, to understand you. Their AI is so powerful, right, that they know what you are thinking about before you do. They know what you are going to do today. They know that if you've messaged this person, then this is what you're feeling and thinking from it.
This is where you're going to be going. This is what you're going to be doing. This is what you're going to be eating.
Yeah. Google, right? The Google search bar, we think of it as a website directory, right? It's great. Google fish and chips in Leeds, right? The Google search bar is an AI training tool. How long has that Google search bar been around for?
20, 30 years?
I think since
1999,
2000,
I think.
Maybe even 30, yeah.
I think 99.
Right, so let's call it 20 years, right? So from that point to now, how many times has a human being searched something
millions,
on Google?
billions, trillions,
probably. Do you know, trillions? So every time they've inputted this, how do I do this? Where do I get that?
That's why it can predict what you're going to write sometimes.
Exactly. So you type 2 words in, and it comes up with suggestions. Somehow in the top 3 is what you were going to type in. How does it know that? Because it's gotten so good at reading human psyche that it knows what you're going to type before you type it. It's in a sense predictive, but it's only predictive because it
based
knows.
On the information it's got of your search history
because
and what else
it's got such a wide range of data that it knows what you're going to do. So they're collecting this data so that they can provide a good experience on Google. No, they're collecting this data to program their AI to understand humans. The question is why? And what are they going to use this AI for? So you think of AI as this, how does Google make their money? Through Google AdWords? No. I mean, they do.
They make some money from that.
They do, but this is a little part of their funding for the bigger project, which is supporting and improving and designing their AI. Welcome to Google.
Welcome to Google.
Hopefully, it's not Skynet in disguise. But it's all right. Don't worry. That company already exists in China, and it only controls the social credit score out there. But they named it Skynet to be ironic. It's fine. I'm sure it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, so interesting. It's so interesting.
It is, it's definitely going in an interesting direction.
For sure. For sure. That's all it is to it, really. But once the internet gets to the point of you can't use it without verifying yourself, it becomes a very dark place.
Yeah.
Because you, especially if they're attached to something like a social credit system, how do you find information outside of a narrative that the government doesn't want you to know?
Yeah.
Without being penalized for
because
it.
That's what it's like in China.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching this thing on YouTube where they were talking about the founders of WeChat, and how they got to where they are, and basically, WeChat has the power to like stop messages if it doesn't like what you're saying. People have been like jailed for messaging something that the government didn't like, even though it was a private message.
Yeah.
So like people are afraid to even message what they want to message. So if you can't even message your friends what you're thinking and feeling,
or what 1984, isn't it? Thought crime.
You can't, and it's probably going to get to a level where you can't even speak it because your phone's listening and it's recording all the information and it's sending it back to someone, and the AI is sifting through it to make sure that you've not said anything you shouldn't be saying, and then you've got the police knocking on your door. Exactly. So it's getting peak.
It's getting very peak.
It's looking a lot like Move to the Mountains.
Every single day, move to the mountains as soon as you can. Especially when you would see things like, Asda's releasing food by appeal.
Oh my God.
A Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded company that's going to coat your fruit and vegetable with organic material that is going to make the fruit and vegetable last longer.
But that's just one, so unnatural. Two, completely pointless. Three, if you're going to invest in something to try and make the world a better place, why don't you focus on other issues that are easier and probably healthier to deal with?
The premise is that they are making the food last longer on the shelves to fight climate change, because of course the longer the food stays on the shelf, the less wastage there is. But is that really going to solve the problem of climate change, or are you just saving the business's bottom line so that they don't have to buy as much stock? Because
I think if the world is going the way that we think it's going, and we think it's shit's going to start getting rationed, it's probably for that purpose too. Yeah, here's your 5 apples. You've got to have them for a month. We're not getting another in for a month because of blah, 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 blah. It's just a different level of control. And you know something as well, with that whole, what it is that they're putting on them or putting into it, isn't it trans fat?
Yes. Mono and diglycerides, and it's made out of our favorite type of oil, rapeseed, canola oil, sunflower oils, palm oil, all the good stuff, which cause what?
Heart problems,
cancer, you name it.
Like all sorts.
It's for the climate, but fuck your health.
But I wonder who's got investment and shares in companies that are related to these illnesses. Like the medications that are the solution to these illnesses.
Which companies produce the medication that?
Exactly.
And who has the money?
Would
Bill Gates be involved in any of these?
Problem solution.
Problem
solution. Yeah, problem. But it's like, oh, here's a problem. Let me fix it, but let me cause another problem that I have a solution for.
Guys, here's the problem that I created. This is the reaction from the problem, but don't worry, I have the solution.
He's just the devil. He's actually the devil. But yeah, that's just wild. Like, and I think if this information should do anything, I think it should encourage people to buy locally. And I think it should encourage people to buy from their local farmers markets, help their local farmer out, and do those kind of things. And I genuinely do think that I think when you buy food from the supermarket, and even when you buy like food that's already made, I feel like you're less connected to it. And, I think you'll find more satisfaction and more connection to your food if you know who's growing it.
Knowing your local farmer, building a connection with them, a relationship.
Because if you can't grow it yourself, ideally, in an ideal world, we'd grow our own food. We'd have the time of the day to do it, the space to do it, etc., etc. The weather would be great. But for now, the best way to, I think, go about it is buy it from a local farmer. And the reality is they probably need the business more than Morrison's do, or Asda do, or these other companies do. So go help your local farmer out. Go buy from them and get to know them and get to know the person that actually grows your food and what they're putting into it and how they're doing it. And 9 times out of 10, they're probably doing it out of love, and they're doing it, and you have a completely different connection to your food as opposed to just buying it from some mega company who actually doesn't give a shit about you.
Who they actually want? All they see you as pound signs. You know what I mean? And just how they're going to make the most profit.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing as well. I feel like capitalism, destroys quality, and it destroys passion and love for things. Do you know what I mean? I think they just care about money, and it's not really about anything else. And they're happy to sacrifice, you know, other things in the means to get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, shop at your local farmer. Then that's what we'll be doing. Because yeah, it's not really about that. Because also as well that they can still label these things organic, which is messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. Not only can they label it organic, they don't even have to label it and tell you that that's what they've done to it.
So you could be eating food that's completely unhealthy for you. You might as well have dipped it in oil.
You might as well. It's basically deep fried fruit and veg.
Yeah, basically. So you know, what does a diet of deep fried food do for you?
It'll make you sick.
It will make you so sick.
But that's the trick, isn't it? They've now created food that's healthy for you, that isn't.
That is exactly.
So what can you eat?
So they're just creating more problems for the sake of profit.
But this is the thing: it's a double win for them, because they're selling you the fruit and veg and these other foods, right? But they're also creating customers from it because they're going to make you sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And if they own the pharmaceutical companies, the companies that are going to be producing the medication and the services to make you feel better, or not feel better, but be a customer for life usually, because that's how modern medicine works these days. Then they're making money out of you two ways. Yes, they're selling you the poison and they're selling you the remedy at the same time.
Yeah.
Double profit.
It's a joke. It's actually a joke.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, it's going a scary way, and I feel like, you know, if everyone just decided, actually, I'm not going to shop from these places anymore. I'm gonna go to my local guy and start going there. Then, you know, it'll slowly start making a dent.
This is the thing. I think most people have it all wrong. We all try to look at the problem and attack the problem, where the reality of it is the solution to the problem is very simple. You don't have to fight anyone. You don't have to do anything, but change your spending habits.
Yeah, money talks.
Because money talks.
Yeah.
Money talks. And if you know, money is energy. Yeah, you've given, most people on this earth give their time and energy, right? Moving their bodies to do things for money, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean OnlyFans. I'm talking about going to and from work, whatever it is they're doing, in the office, out in the field, whatever. So you're exchanging your spiritual essence, your time that you cannot get back for this currency, right? It's every £5-10 note is a representation of the time that you've spent to earn it. And then you are then going to these companies that poison you and giving them that, you're exchanging that with them, and you're giving them permission to poison you. Yeah. And that's how it's entering your body, because you're accepting it. But what happens if you take that money that you've worked hard for,
and you say, actually, I don't agree to this.
I don't want this shit. I don't want none of it. I'm going to spend it with my local farmer. I'm going to go to my local community to buy this. I'm going to go to my local thrift shop. You know, I'm going to go to the nan down the road that makes woolly jackets, like stuff like that. Yeah. And you're exchanging your time and energy for things that actually bring in value, not just to yourself, but to the people in your community as well, where everything is made with love and care. And all right, yes, there is an element of profit involved, because you need profit, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with making profit from your goods and services, but there's a level of intention behind that. Like, I'm not going to sell you this product knowing it's going to make you
exactly sick, and I think that's the problem. That's the problem, right? That's the problem.
So we need to realize that actually the most powerful tool that we have against this is to spend our money wisely. Stop paying the supermarkets. Stop paying the pharmaceutical companies. Stop paying fast fashion. Stop paying all these things that are problems in society, because you're just giving them permission to carry on. Yeah. And if you change your spending habits, these companies will do what? They will eventually change, because they will be forced to, because they're chasing profit. If their profit is going elsewhere, then the market dynamics change and they'll be forced to be better. Yeah. And that's how you create a better world. They won't go away, but they'll change, and they will be good, because they will want your money back. Yeah. Arguably, you should probably never go back to them anyway. But you know what? If they're giving you a good deal and their whole ethics change, then not entirely against it.
Unlikely that the whole ethics will change.
Of course not.
I saw a thing, I think maybe we watched it together, where it was a video where a guy was asking another guy, do you use the internet? Do you have a phone?
Yes. And
the guy was like, well, yes. And he's like, oh, well, you know, you're indirectly linked to slavery.
Yeah.
So, you know, I feel like certain things are so embedded in society and business that I don't think a company could ever really, like, Apple can never turn around tomorrow and say, this is completely, you know, child labor free, or this is completely...
Their profit is from that.
Exactly.
I watched a documentary on it, and if they actually paid their workers, well, it's not their workers, it's their subsidiaries, right? If their subsidiaries paid fair wages for their workers, then Apple wouldn't make a profit.
Which is wild.
Like, and they make billions, 100, 200 billion a year, something.
But if you think about it, the technology in an iPhone, you know, you would expect it to cost a lot.
Of course,
it's complicated technology.
Of course, but it's not just the technology; it's the minerals and stuff that go in it.
Yeah.
Because to extract the minerals is hard labor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So all these companies actually boil down to they exist off of slave labor.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they exist, because if you didn't have that slave labor, they wouldn't be making a profit, so they would not be operating.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are with our iPhones and our electric cars and our this and all our technology and all these first world comforts that we have, not actually deep in where this stuff come from and actually what we're supporting.
Yeah.
But it's very hard. Like, here's us knowing this stuff, but, you know, like I said, still got the iPhone.
Yeah.
And don't get me
wrong, because it's so embedded into society now. And I think that's the same for all industries. You know, they all have like an element of like unethical things that are going on. But, you know, society's been created in a way where it's like too embedded into society, and they've
made it very difficult to be able to turn your back from it and say, hey, I don't want to do this. And it takes, I think, a lot of courage to say, like, you know what, fuck this. I'm actually moving to the woods, to the mountains. Because even to do that, you need quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Not a millionaire state, but you do need some money, and most people don't have that money. They're living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of people paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. They're stuck. Even if that is what they actually feel on the inside, that's what I want to do. How do they get out of it? Where's their pathway out? They're in credit card debt. They're in student loan debt.
They've got everyone in a headlock.
They've got a mortgage. They've got kids that are going to school, and they've got their lives, you know. Their friends and family are all in the town. What they're going to do? Just up and leave and just forget everything? And
yeah, it's difficult.
It's doable though.
It's doable but difficult, and it would take a lot of minerals, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think really what it boils down to is how badly do you want it? Because people will say that that's what they want, but the reality is that if you want something bad enough, you can get it. So what's stopping you? And I think personally, and this is just maybe like that little feeling that I have, because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, yo, should I just take my beer and we just get the fuck out of here and just, you know, get out of here, like, because we can do it, like we can actually do it, and that's why it's so funny. I know that we actually are blessed in the position where we can actually just dip if we want.
Yeah.
But then there's this like, yeah, but what about our family? What about this like life?
We got to take everybody.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if we're getting off the slave ship, I want to take everyone that I care about with me. Yes. Do you know what I mean? And inshallah, we'll be in that position. But right now, we're not in the position. We're only in a position where we can save ourselves. And as great as that would be, I don't know if I could look back and think, yeah,
I'm okay with leaving
my family.
Yeah.
You know, even to an extent, my friends I want to leave behind. Do you know what I mean? But especially family, you just think like, yo, how can you do that?
Yeah, it's just not, it's not a vibe.
That isn't what would make me happy. That isn't what serves my purpose, man.
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point of getting off the slave ship if everyone else is still a slave?
Exactly. You got to go back.
When you know that you have the keys to get everyone out.
Yeah, you got to go back and get everyone.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to just kind of to rip yourself out, because sometimes it's not so much circumstantial. It's like,
yeah,
I guess your love and your care for the people that you know that are in it. But the main thing you can do, or we can all do, money talks.
Money talks.
Money talks. We don't need to be stomping around London every month doing protests. We don't need to be trying to fight the police and shouting and screaming at each other about this religion and that race and that gender and that sexuality and this belief and that belief, because they're all division tactics anyway to distract us from what we should be doing.
Yeah, and I also just feel like, you know, I understand like why things like protests are so good and, you know, outreach, etc. But I feel like there's a limit to it. I feel like, you know, once, twice.
3 times a lady.
But, you know, if it's something that's going on regularly and there's not really been anything happening on the back of it, like there's no effect to it, then is there a point in continuing when that energy and time could be better spent elsewhere and doing other things? Which is why I say outreach is okay, I think, because, you know, I think there are a lot of people out there who don't know, and I think a lot of people that if they did know would probably feel better about doing something about what they know if they knew people that also, you know, were awake to these kind of things. Because I think that was one of the things that we saw a lot of. People were really happy to just meet other people who like knew what was going on. But I think aside from that, I don't really think there's much benefit to it, because this country don't care. Like, the government doesn't care. They will just air you. They will ignore you, and they will carry on. They'll carry on what they're doing. It's nothing like that is ever going to work. No plan, no protest will ever in this country have an effect on the government. They still went to war in Iraq, for God's sakes, and that protest was huge.
And that was the biggest protest of all time until what, 2021?
Yeah. So, you know, it has no effect.
Yeah.
And I think the government in this country, you know, the government's going to do what the government's going to do. You know, it's not like Iceland, where, you know, they didn't like what the bankers were doing, what the president was doing, and they went
put them in prison.
Yeah, they kicked him out, and that's what happens in those countries. But, you know, it's not. It doesn't happen over here. It's not the sort of thing that would ever happen over here. And you can hope and pray and dream about that happening, but the reality is, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, this is the thing. Let's say tomorrow half the country went into mass, call it violent protest, if you will, but an aggressive protest where, you know, we would storm Parliament, stormed all the government buildings, took everyone out of office. Who do you replace the government with? Who do you put as leader of the UK? Whoever it's going to be, you're going to get the same problem.
Exactly. And it's not to say that, like, you know, the government should be demolished. It's just that, you know, it's a cycle that has been created in such a clever way that it's constantly ongoing, and it's such a large part of the fabric of society and the fabric of how things work in this country that there's not really much you can do about it other than think of ways to get out of it, think of ways to make your life easier, think of where you put your money, and, you know, have effect of it in that way.
Yeah, the key is
focus on what you need to do and how you can make your life better, as opposed to trying to fix them or change them.
Perfect. Say it again. Say it louder.
Focus on what you can do to make your life better, as opposed to focusing on them.
And why is that?
Because, you know, you can't change them, but you can change you. You can change what your life looks like. You can change what you do with your life, but you can't change the government.
Go for it. It's true. You know, the government only exists because we've given them the power to exist, because we have become governable, right? Because let's say tomorrow the government is abolished.
Yeah.
The country falls to shit. We're going into anarchy. Who's, you know, how is everything going to be working?
The army's on the streets.
Yeah.
There's more control than ever.
Everyone's getting killed. You know, everyone's stealing and robbing. That's what would happen.
Yeah, people start looting.
Everyone would lose their fucking minds. So we need the government. Yeah, how are we getting food imported from different countries? How are we trading with different countries? How are we getting the oil that we need? How are we getting the electricity that we need? The gas, everything, if there's no government, right? So we need the government. Why? Because we've become governable. So the remedy to that is to become ungovernable. How do you do that? Well, you need to be independent of the state. You need to have your own food supply, your own water supply, your own energy supply, your own network, your own community, your own house, your own everything. So it don't matter what is going on out there in your world, wherever your world is, you're going to be fine.
It's cool.
It doesn't matter what they're doing. They might be pointing guns at each other. They might be blowing each other up. Hey, you might be collateral damage to it, but you can't control that shit. Focus on you. Live your life. Be in your power. Do what you can do. Control that. Make sure that you secure that for your friends and your family and your community, and you will be just fine. And what will happen then? Well, if everyone is doing that, then government will not exist in the way it exists today, because you are ungovernable. They will go from working for themselves to working for the people. And you will see that the money that they tax you on is going towards things that actually help you and change your life, rather than going in their pockets and funding wars elsewhere to invade different countries and steal their resources.
It's facts. It's facts on facts.
But most people are so brainwashed and they're so indoctrinated that they actually love the government.
It's just funny to me. Every time I hear someone say, but the government would never lie. Like, where would you get such information?
Why would the government lie for?
Well, where would you get such information from? Is it something you know that I don't know?
People just don't like to believe it.
You just want to live in, the River Nile.
Up the River the Nile. Are you Egyptian? Because you're up the River the Nile. But yeah, that's the key. That's the key. Control, change your world. Control what you can control.
Worry
become
about
ungovernable.
you, yeah, and crack on.
Because stressing about everything else that's going there will just lead to your ultimate destruction.
Yeah.
And everything that's going over there is just a reflection on how we feel on the inside anyway. So if you change yourself and how you feel, then the outer world will change. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
What are you saying, Alan? Alan's like, bro, you guys are spitting bars today on podcast number 4, 5?
Podcast number something.
That's how we do it on What's the Crack. But yeah. So this whole appeal thing's just got me thinking, what else are they going to do to food? And like you said, like we need to start finding local farmers and actually.
I just think that's the way. I think that's the way. I think local farmers deserve the business. I think they'll probably do a better job and care more about the produce they're creating. They probably put a lot more love into it than a mega corporation like Asda, Walmart, Morrison's, Tesco, whoever else is involved in this.
All of them. It's going to be all the supermarkets.
Well, because it's about profit, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit gross. Like, it's gross to think
it's
of
sad.
It's gross. Like, no.
Half the food we eat these days isn't even real food anyway, or it didn't exist, say, 100, 200 years ago. Even cows and pigs. What is a pig? It's a hog that has been inbred, so it doesn't have the hair and tusk anymore. Do you think pigs exist in the wild? Of course they don't. Cows. Where do you ever see a wild cow? They're bulls.
Lol.
Do you know what I mean? So these are, look at what we've done to dogs.
Yeah.
They're wolves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Look at a Chihuahua. Where's that come from? Look at the English Bulldog. Where's that come from? See any of them? And where are they in the wild?
Yeah, you know what? Chihuahuas look more like rats than they look like dogs.
Hey, don't say that about
but
my dog.
They're cute. They're super cute. But do you know what I mean? Like they're not.
I hope Mum doesn't watch this one.
No, but sorry, Sam. That's not what I mean. But you know what I mean? Like they're so small and they're cute, but like they're not like other dogs.
No, they're very unique.
And they're also not like they're so chill all the time. They are like.
I think Angel would have a different thing to say about that. Chihuahuas are notoriously known for being yappy, annoying dogs. Our Chihuahuas are chill.
Okay, maybe that's where my lack of understanding of Chihuahuas come from.
Chihuahua's characteristic is like
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, but your dogs are so like.
That's because they're my dogs.
They're so zen.
Obviously.
Like, they're just chilling by the fire all the time.
Taught meditation at a young age. You know what I mean? You should really try it. It's real great for you.
Yeah, it's real great.
Yeah.
I'll try one of those guided meditation things for sure.
You don't need one of them. I can take you through that. But yeah, so Chihuahuas, that's a Chihuahua characteristic. But yeah, the food we have today. Even bananas. Bananas are completely mutated as well.
I used to remember bananas had seeds in them and they don't anymore.
See, I don't remember this. I remember you saying that. I can't actually remember if bananas had seeds in them or not.
They did when I was really young. I remember.
I must have blocked it out. I probably hated bananas at that point.
Oh, potentially. Because they used to be in the middle. You'd get like 4 or 5 and they'd be black and you could potentially chew on them as well.
Yeah.
Like not loads, but they were quite small.
Yeah.
Almost like chia seeds.
Right. That kind of rings a bell.
They were like chia seeds a little bit in the middle and you just eat them, but you don't really see them now anymore.
No.
So that's interesting.
Why is that? Because they bred out the seeds.
Yeah.
Seedless grapes bred out the seeds. But these things aren't naturally occurring in the wild.
No.
So if they're not.
And also maybe they don't want you to regrow.
Potentially.
Potentially, I don't know.
If they could, it wouldn't surprise me if it got to the point where everything in the supermarket didn't have seeds in it.
It will definitely go there.
Because then they have full control of the food supply, don't they?
But the interesting thing is you don't just need a seed to be able to grow. There's that guy on Instagram or TikTok that shows you how to grow.
With some things, yeah. But there's a lot of things that you probably do need the seeds for.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? But it's healthy. It's a healthy information to know what you can regrow without having to really do much. Do you know what I mean? I actually watched one the other day. You can replant ginger. You just got, what we do with the avocados? You basically just got to do that.
Oh, with any bit of ginger?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing! We'll
and
definitely
then you
try
can make a
that.
whole big chunk of it.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm never buying ginger again.
We're gonna have to get more plant pots then. There's no way there.
Literally. Let me just check the time. So we've been waffling. 1 hour 6 minutes.
Damn.
Should we do it there?
Yeah.
Perfect. Dun 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 I love the way I just impromptu did that, and you like just carried on with it, doing the pianos and everything.
Tony plays piano like this.
Yeah, literally. Great. What's the Craic podcast?
In your drums.
Jeez. Don't talk, just listen.